agencies in here and actually talking about these events?
Well, what you are seeing is a team come together of my administration, state directors, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, and all of the stakeholders that are involved in what we need to do to keep people safe, keep property safe, keep communities safe. There is a fine line when we see street festivals, and that line is how do you make sure that people are protected, but also protect First Amendment rights. And that's the gray line that we're walking here. But it is so important. And so this is a way for us to find out how we can keep law and order, but more importantly, how we can keep peace.
And you talked about in there the revenue, and you were amazed by it. I mean, why was that your reaction to it?
Well, you know, we're looking at the community of Atlantic Beach, and we're seeing that the revenues every year are $30,000 go into this community. But in my administration, we've already spent $1.2 million in personnel, law enforcement personnel, just to handle this Memorial Weekend. Memorial Weekend is supposed to be a weekend where we're, you know, appreciating all those people who have given the ultimate sacrifice. And what we're doing is sending hundreds of law enforcement people from all over the state to monitor a weekend where this past Memorial Weekend we saw 3 shootings, we saw other injuries. It's just wrong. Everything about it's wrong. And so what you're seeing is all these stakeholders are coming together to say, okay, how do we take control of a situation that has gone terribly awry?
Governor, have you had a chance to study the city's 40-mile loop plan, and what do you think about the idea of routing traffic outside the city?
So the officials of Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach came and met with us. They also met with my director of public safety, SLED, as well as natural resources and probation, pardon, and parole. We all got together. They gave us their plan. Hats off to all of them. I think they've done an extraordinary job to try and walk that line of how they maintain order to protect the people and property, but also how they allow those people who come to this area to still have their First Amendment rights to enjoy themselves. And, you know, they have really gone above and beyond to try and do all they can to not suppress an event, but to actually just make sure that there's order. And, you know, I can't give them enough praise.
And this was mentioned earlier in some of the sessions. The loop's going to bring traffic into areas that might not otherwise been accustomed to seeing bikers. What would you say to those folks who might, you know, all of a sudden have bikers in their backyard?
You know, I think that this was not just an idea that came up with. This was an idea they looked at on what other cities had done, whether it was Atlanta, whether it was Virginia Beach, who have seen the same situations, Galveston. They have all dealt with issues like Bike Week, and they have all gone this route and have seen great success from it. So what we would ask is for the citizens of the area to understand there is a method to the madness. There is a way to make sure that this ends up actually solving the problem. We all just have to work as a team to see that happen.
Myrtle Beach City Council proposed their plan with $1.65 million price tag. How do you react to that? That's how much money it would cost to kind of maybe control the chaos.
You know, it's amazing that we're having to spend this, and you know that doesn't even include the state resources of what we're having to spend, and that we're ramping up our additional resources to make sure that we help Horry County in dealing with this situation. I just wish we could get more respect and involvement out of the people of Atlantic Beach. You know, I've gone and talked to their council. This group has tried to reach out to them. We've gotten nothing. We've not even gotten a response. And so, you know, it really is that if you see all of these other communities working so hard to keep the areas safe, you know, it would really be nice if the city of Atlantic Beach would step up and say, you know what, we have a role to play in this, and maybe we should step up and do something about it.
Town manager and the police chief's here today. Do you plan to go talk to them before you leave?
I have talked to the entire town council, and we'll be meeting with the mayor. I believe we've got a meeting later on this week that we're meeting. I'll keep talking to anybody that will listen, but my job is to protect the people of this area, and my job is to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support the elected officials in this area, trying to keep it a great place. We have $1.2 billion in tourism that comes to South Carolina every year. When you look at the Grand Strand, that's a huge piece of that puzzle. If we don't protect that, there's going to be a problem. There is a serious problem when we end up on the front page of USA Today for deaths and for injuries related to one weekend's festivals. It hurts the entire state when that happens. So our job is to make sure that we pull this together, we pull in the reins, and we right this wrong and make sure that it's a way that everybody continues to enjoy this fantastic community. Okay?
I actually have a separate
Yes.
Hugo question
Okay.
For a local affiliate or another affiliate. 25 years ago, Hugo made landfall. How prepared is the state today if a similar situation were to happen?
You know, I think we all still feel the chills of what Hurricane Hugo meant to this state and how drastic damage there was to the area. What we have done is every single year South Carolina has had a tabletop exercise where we bring all of our state agencies together, all of our law enforcement agencies together, and actually go through real time what we would do before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. This year, we went a step further and said, okay, we're going to do the same exercise in the local communities as well to make sure that we're prepared. We're probably as prepared as we've ever been, but we can never think we're ever too prepared. So we will continue to do this going forward, continue to educate, continue to lead in a way that we know that we're constantly looking for new ways to make sure that as our population grows, as the water levels continue to rise, that we're continuing to stay in it as we need to.
I have one more, if you don't mind, similar to that. With the Georgetown rebuilding after the hurricane, does the state still stand behind that, and how do you guys feel about the progress?
You know, I think Georgetown is a very dear community to the state of South Carolina. A lot of history there, and when those fires happened, we were all devastated. What we did was we sent in the Director of Employment and Workforce, we sent in the Director of Commerce. I went there a couple of times. We sent the Director of Tourism to go in there and see what we could do. We pledged a $1 million grant to the town of Georgetown to say, let us help you, let us do what we can do. We continue to stand beside the town of Georgetown. We will continue to be there for them in any way that they need and continue to listen to them for whatever they ask.
Okay, and back to Bike Fest real quick. What did you and Mayor Rhodes talk about when you stepped off the podium when you guys had a little private word together?
You know, we've continued to talk about what this means, but it's more about progress. So we're really just talking about all this. He was talking to me about what they learned from Galveston and how this road loop really made a difference. And so what I told him was, you know, let's make this happen because there's something wrong when we've got a $30,000 revenue festival that's costing millions of dollars to the taxpayers of this area and the state. So we've got to rein this in, and I think that he's got the leadership and everybody else has the leadership to do that. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.